Hey boys and girls, this is Mike, your host of Craft Beer Storm, also founder brewer at Barra Brewing Company in freezing Portsmouth, New Hampshire. I'll tell you a story today. I went to the store, I got a Gatorade, and I was walking along the road for about 15 minutes. I had to get to a client, and by the time I got to the client, there was like ice chunks in the Gatorade. All right, it's ridiculously cold. Like single digits. It's like 5 degrees. But we live in the Northeast, so I can't complain. There you go. If there's snow, you got to go skiing. That's what you got to do. Life give you lemons, make lemonade. But that's cool. Hey, and today we have beer styles for you. We do that every Wednesday. And we just go down the list of GABF beers and their styles for the competition, Great American Beer Festival. And there are, I think it's about 102 categories, and then they have subcategories. So there's loads of different types of beer out there, guys. So this week we're going to talk about American-style sour ale, which has been very popular in the past couple of years, resurrected and very popular. There are two categories in this American-style sour ale category. Actually, the other is fruited American-style sour ale. The first one is American-style sour ale, just regular American-style sour ale. And it's all about the yeast and the bacteria used in the beer. That gives its character and the flavors. Now, sometimes Belgian-influenced American-style sour ales are beers that are introduced to wild yeast or bacteria, such as Brettanomyces or Lactobacillus. This introduction may occur from oak barrels that may have been previously inoculated, pitching into the beer, or gained from various sour mash techniques. So there's a lot of different techniques here that you can make beer with in terms of using this yeast and bacteria. Now, regardless of the method, these yeast and or bacteria may leave a mark that should be noticeable to strong, and often contribute a sour and or funky wild note. So you have funked up beers. Mixed fermentation examples will display a range of aromatics rather than a single dominant character. So the yeast introduced into this beer, when you mash grains, you can introduce yeast then. Introduce yeast during fermentation or multiple times during the process. It just gives it all kinds of different flavors that come off that are generated from this yeast and bacteria. Brettanomyces, they call it Brett, is widely used, and a lot of people use it. The color of this beer could be pale to black depending on the underlying beer style. So you can use pretty much a lot of varying beer styles, and just the difference would be introducing this bacteria in it. Would you think, oh my God, bacteria, I'm going to die? No, it's good bacteria. It's fine. It produces these flavors. It's been used by Belgians and all over Europe for centuries, so it's fine. The clarity, chill haze, bacteria and yeast-induced haze is acceptable at any temperature. The perceived malt aroma and flavor is low. In darker versions, roasted malt, caramel, and chocolate aromas and flavors could be present at low levels. So these are really delicious beers. Hop aroma and flavor and bitterness could be low to high, depending on the style. The body can be low to high, and the ABV varies with style. So, and the glassware you would use would be a tulip glass. Get that aroma, get that experience, that taste. Good stuff. And then the second category we talked about was fruited American-style sour ale, another subcategory. Fruited versions of the American-style sour ale will exhibit fruitiness and harmony with malt, hop, acidity, and other characteristics of fermentation. Moderate to intense, yet balanced fruity estery aromas and flavors are evident. So in addition to adding the bacteria, add fruit in as well. It gives it even more flavor. The color should be pale to black depending on the underlying style, but these beers may take on the color of added fruits. So depending on the fruit that you give in, that you use in the beer, that could take that color. Clarity, chill haze, bacteria and yeast-induced haze is acceptable at any temperature. Perceived malt aroma and flavor is low. In darker versions, roasted mark caramel, chocolate aromas and flavors are present at low levels. Same thing as the first category. Hop aroma, flavor and bitterness, low to high, body low to high. ABV varies depending on the style. And you would also use a tulip glass for these types of beers. Fruited American-style sour ales. Examples, courtesy of Beer Advocate. Supplication from Russian River Brewing Company. That comes in at a 7% ABV. And that is a brown ale aged in used Pinot Noir barrels from local Sonoma County wineries. My God. They're located up in Northern California, Russian River. It is aged for about 12 months with sour cherries, Brettanomyces, Lactobacillus, and Pediococcus added to each barrel. So they put a lot of different bacteria strains in there. The flavors from the cherries, Pinot Noir, and oak balance each other nicely with a little funk from the Brett. And actually, Brett is a type of yeast, but it's a different type of yeast. And we're going to explain that next week. We're going to go into it in depth in another episode next week when we talk about Brett beer. Just focusing on the Brett. The second one is Le Terroir, and that's from New Belgian Brewing, and that comes in at 7.5% ABV. And this one is a sour beer, barrel-aged for 2 years, and then dry hopped with Amarillo and Cascade hops for 8 days. So this is a serious beer. I mean, if you leave it in there for 2 years, I mean, imagine the flavors that it'll take on. So if you haven't tried a American-style sour ale, you must try it. There's a lot of different flavors going on. You never know until you try it. It could be your new favorite beer. Yeah, and that's the American style sour ale. Those are your two subcategories. And if you like what we're doing, if you like our podcasts, we bring you this every Wednesday, Beer Styles. We also bring on Monday, we do an interview with a brewer or a founder of a brewery or movers and shakers in the craft beer world. Just to get their perspective on things and their history and where they have been and where they're going. And that goes out every Monday. And then on Fridays we have Craft Brew News, which we just take the latest news of the week and we just expand on it. Sometimes I have a guest on and we share our ideas, or it's just me. But we bring you the news every week. So we have three podcasts for you a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We're tripling down. So if you like what we're doing, please go on iTunes, subscribe, or at least give us a rating, review. That just helps us tremendously. It shows iTunes that we are serious here, and we want to get the word out to as many people as possible about craft beer, because craft beer exists, and a lot of people don't know about it, which is a sin. But we're trying to promote that and focus on local breweries, try to help them out. Their families, they work hard. These guys work hard, man. I did we had a blizzard, so we're doing a new beer for Brottskeller, which is located in Portsmouth. They agreed to, they wanted to do a Brottskeller ale, so we made a beer for them, and I had to make a batch on Sunday, but it was snowing, but I came in, called it the Brottskeller Blizzard Ale, and it kicks your butt, man, brewing. So these guys work hard, support them. Okay, that's all we have for this week. Until next week, we'll talk to you. Take care.